Yeah, this is super cool.
You did a Blue Jeans version. Recording has started.
All right, perfect. So before I dive into actual presentation, because we've all gone through a webinar, and that's not what this is about. This is really more of an open forum for you guys. So I am with Allyhealth. I partner with the field force. Actually, that's like 90%, 80%, let's say. 80% of my job is to partner or align with the field force. So I mostly work with Aflac agents, DSCs, and RSCs with telemedicine. So virtual urgent care, virtual therapy, prescription savings plan. That's what I do. So the service itself is not overly complicated. You guys are familiar with what you currently have as a value add with MeMD, and I will share some of the differences. So by all means, use MeMD where it fits. What I want to really do is give you another option of something that has some different benefits and different partnership as far as what I'm able to do to help you. I know when I was an agent, I didn't have a lot of success in layering in value adds. It just, sometimes I didn't need them, honestly. So if you don't really need them, if you still get the conditions and everything's working great, yeah, you can throw them in there, but then they don't really have any value because you just toss it in there, right? So this is a way that you can not only add value, but also like build an additional book of business. So let's talk through that a little bit. Technology. All right. So hopefully you guys can see my page. Yeah.
You got
awesome. It. Cool. All right, so virtual care partner, that's really what we're talking about here. So virtual care is the telemedicine and the teletherapy. So mental health and urgent care. So at Aflac, obviously we have our accident, injury protection, we have our critical illness, cancer protections, etc. So we have more catastrophic issues, right? But there's always kind of this gap of like, well, what about if my people are sick? Sorry, like unless they're hospitalized, like we don't really have something for them. But you can with telemedicine, you can have an urgent care plan. And then what about my employees if they need therapy or, obviously pandemic propelled therapy forward like 5 years or more. I know that from 2019 to the end of 2020, there was a spike of 574% requests for consultations, not even like talking to therapists, like not even like full blown, just like, I need help, where do I go? 574% increase. So there is absolutely a demand for mental health care, which we already knew, but like throw some stats in it and feels a little bit better. So, so we really are a partner in that space. I am a partner for you in that space. And I'm gonna have Angel speak to this in a little bit as well, because he's had some success in our partnership. So services we offer. So again, I kind of already mentioned this, 24/7 doctor consultations, mental health therapist, pediatrics, of course, can go through that urgent care doctor consultation space. Psychiatrists are available within the same network of therapists, so you don't have to search out a psychiatrist if you need antidepressants, anti-anxiety meds, schizophrenics, etc. If you need medication for a mental health issue, it's still housed in our virtual space, so that's very cool. The medical bill review, so if you happen to go to the emergency room somewhere else, and you want to decrease that medical bill because it's an out-of-network thing, cool, we've got you on that. Prescription savings plan, I know, is another gap that came up a lot when I was with Aflac. Like, again, so accidents, major catastrophic illness. Okay, then what about sickness? What about mental health? What about prescriptions? I don't have insurance, or my copay is super high. So we have a coupon plan basically in here as well. So there's all of that. It's all housed in a beautiful app. They can go online through a desktop and access this. They can call in and access this. But quite frankly, we're all on our phones. Most people are on their phones. So it's a really easy way to access these provider networks and these other services. And lastly, the benefit wallet. And this is just sort of an overview of these things. The benefit wallet can house your business card or other things that are relevant to them in regard to Aflac. So you can build that out however you like. And again, that's just an overview.
Mm-hmm.
As I go through some of these operational parts of Allyhealth, you'll see where we align with your current business model with Aflac. You'll also maybe understand and think of some ways that we're different from MD Live or MeMD, I'm sorry. So I will ask a little bit of where you see some differences. So Allyhealth, so we have 0 copays for our services. Our services cover entire households and dependents. So anybody that resides in the home and maybe a kid away at college, awesome. They're all covered under one membership. Our services can be paid, employer sponsored, so somewhere in between, voluntary as a payroll deduction, and we do have direct as well. Enrollment is a spreadsheet enrollment. So we have a census, get some basic employee data, no social security numbers. It's not necessary because this is for W-2s, 1099s, part-time, full-time, seasonal workers. It doesn't matter who they are. They can be volunteers and they can be put under this umbrella of this service for Allyhealth. So it's pretty exciting there. The spreadsheet enrollment can be online, phone, or again, we can just get a census from the employer, pretty easy. You guys can even, through Everwell, you can download a census from that once you enroll everybody, and we can pop that on our spreadsheet and go that way. So less work, the better, obviously, and I'm here to help you with that. Our goal, and I should probably start with this, is to help you gain more access and control, better conditions, and have an added revenue stream. So I'll talk more about that, but ultimately, the only reason we've been able to align with Aflac and do what we do and not get in trouble with your corporate is because we actually help you grow your business. Yes, we benefit from it, but ultimately we're seeing better conditions, we're seeing more involvement, and I have some testimonials I'll share with you in a bit that really align with that and how leveraging our services can get you in the door differently than maybe you have in previous conversations. Our marketing is massive. So what you'll also know is most telemedicine companies have about a 4 to 6% utilization rate. So in most cases, it's sort of a set it, leave it. If it's there, you can use it. We're not really going to talk about it because we don't really want you to use it because it, either it doesn't cost a lot for the company. So we want to keep utilization really low. We're different. So we average a 50% utilization in all of our groups because we market to our members. We absolutely engage with them. We educate them. We let them know, like, please use us first. Please, call us, reach out to us instead of going to your doctor. No reason to have a copay, just use us instead. So throughout the year, we regularly reach out to our members.
Jenny?
Sorry?
I was going to ask you, 50%, that sounds like a really big number. I mean, when virtual doctors came out, like 3 years ago, I think it was like maybe 15, not even, it was like in the single digits. Do you know what it is now? I know it's gone up, but I don't think it's 50%.
For utilization?
Oh, across the board. Yeah. Utilization of a.
No, across the board, it's like maybe 7.
Wow. Yeah. That's 50%.
Yeah, so ours is incredibly high. But you'll notice, like, when I get to the rates part, we're charging maybe, $15 per employee per month. But for those lower utilization groups, you're either charging nothing for the group and then charging a copay, or it's maybe like $2 per employee per month. But that's because they don't push the education part. So it's a little different. We just have a different strategy and it seems to work well. So, and then at communication. So groups over 25 get a dedicated account manager. Smaller groups don't, but they absolutely can reach out to us anytime. I'm always available. Our account managers can still help as needed. So ultimately, servicing is all included through us. You guys don't have to service anybody anytime. If they, direct something to you, shoot it out to myself or my team. Angel's done that quite a bit, and we just take it and run with it and help them out. You earn commissions with us. So that's exciting. Agents earn a 15% commission paid as earned for the life of the policy. So you can build a book of business with us. Love that. And then lastly, virtual DM demos are available. So I don't expect you guys to be masters of this. You absolutely can be. And when you feel comfortable, great, run with it. But if you want me to be part of a DM conversation or a employee presentation or what have you, just schedule it with me ahead of time and I will absolutely be on there virtually, of course. So we can do videos or we can do calls, either one's fine, but I'm absolutely willing and I would love to be your partner in that. Again, it's not me just driving Allyhealth. I'm very, very familiar with Aflac. I believe in Aflac and I will absolutely do everything I can to push your business as the driving force and have us as the reason to get in the door. So please know that it's very true. So any questions about some of that? In fact, I want to pose that actually. So what do we do different maybe that is different from what you know of me and Dee?
So I wanted to talk about something really quickly because I've been reading a lot of things about this lately, about the pandemic. And so employers have taken an expanded role as social safety net for their employees. And one of the things that they talk about is, I'm reading this, the pandemic has increased the trend of employers playing an expanded role in the employee's financial, physical, and mental well-being. Mm-hmm. So when you talk about mental things, employers know that can be a major drain on the business, from the individual who cannot come to work or is going through financial hardship because they're needing some kind of help that way, but they can't afford it. Maybe it's not covered by their medical. Maybe they just don't know where to go. And yep. For me, this is something that we've got to take advantage of this because it's out there for us. I think there's a major in for us with businesses with just this.
Yeah, absolutely. I do the same thing you guys do. I'm reaching out to business owners. My business owners just happen to be insurance agents. So I'm having a lot of the same conversations. And one of the value props that I speak to is sharing something with business owners that's relevant, valuable, and on high demand. And that's mental health care across the board. Telemedicine, yeah, we're a dime a dozen. There's a lot of us. What we do is different, but it's the mental health component and that virtual care, being able to talk to the same therapist through your treatment, actually talking to a therapist. We're an EAP program. We're talking to maybe a counselor and they're like, yeah, it sounds like you need help. Go find a therapist. So 30 days later, you get to actually talk to one. We're talking 3 to 5 days, get in touch with a therapist, start putting that work in and getting help. So yeah, absolutely. It is a high demand. There's been an objection and we're kind of jumping ahead a little bit, which is fine. But the objection that's come up a couple times, and it's not common, but you'll hear it, is, oh, nobody's ever come to me about needing therapy. I don't think we need it. Okay. I almost don't even know how to respond. Right. Why would they? Most people are not going to speak up because there's a massive stigma around mental health care. They don't want other people to know that they're struggling, especially, and no offense, but especially men. So they don't want to know that something's wrong or that they're struggling or they have problems at home or whatever that is. Most people need therapy because they don't have people in their network that they can rely on to have conversations and work through things and elevate through. So having somebody like a life coach or a therapist is massive. So it's just a matter of having it available, just like you guys do with Aflac, make it available, make it voluntary, whatever it is, and at least give people the chance to get the help that they need. So Jinx, you had something?
Yeah. So does the teletherapy include telepsychiatry? Just curious.
Yeah, absolutely. So the zero copay is for therapy. Psychiatry is kind of next level because they are able to prescribe, etc. So there are copays involved with the psychiatry, but it's still in the network. You don't have to go outside. You don't have to seek them out. It's still in the same virtual space in the provider network. Yeah.
And just to speak to what you're saying, Jenny, so I was mountain biking with a friend that's a master's and psychologist or whatever for Deschutes County here. And he was saying that in the last 4 months, it's increased by 30%. the use, like utilization just of therapists. And it's kind of a hard number to see, but within his organization of it's a 30% increase in like the last 4 months, which is huge. So the need is there. Yeah, people may maybe not express the need, but the need is definitely there.
Yep. So it's our job as trusted advisors to have a service or something available for someone to take advantage of. I'm really driven to get more like mental health care in the hands of more people that's affordable, easy to use, etc. And I feel like a lot of you are probably in that same boat. There's a huge heart aspect to working with Aflac. What we do, and I feel like I still say we, like I'm part of Aflac because I kind of am, but what we do is massive. Like we're protecting people's incomes. I know a lot of you have probably had massive claims for, heart attacks or cancer, etc. And it's saving people's homes. It's saving people's lives. It's keeping families together. I mean, I can't even tell you. So something like this and getting that mental health care is really along those lines. So I'm actually going to skip some of these, not these ones, but some of the other slides because we kind of already talked about it. But in case you're not familiar with why you would use telemedicine, same reason you would go to urgent care or even like the emergency room. If you're after hours, we have to go to the emergency room because, right, the urgent care is closed. So things like sunburns, diarrhea, ear infections, constipation, etc. So kids, awesome. Call every day, call a couple times a day. If your kids are super sick, they're having issues, whatever, 0 copay. Awesome. And of course, as adults, we have issues too, so use it. Callback time is within about 9 minutes. Again, there's no copays, phone, video, or mobile app use. So you can just talk on the phone. Most of the times I use Allyhealth. I'm just doing a phone call. I haven't done any videos with the doctors. It's super easy. So they call me back at a certain time. We talk for 5 minutes. I get my inhaler refilled. Awesome. Super, super simple. If a transcript needs to be sent, that can be done as well. So if they need to file a claim with Aflac, great. This is fun. This is a little bit more elevated thought, but if you're with a blue collar group and they have workers' comp claims and they need to document workers' comp right away, use this. So if they have nurses on payroll, if they have other emergency teams on payroll, they do some crazy things just to help monitor those workers' comp claims. We'll just have telemedicine and they can document it and they get those medical records right away. So
then
that's
the thing, that's pretty big, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's MD. Okay. How much? So
What's
I mean, MD is $25, right? So I mean, I don't know. This is like MD on steroids.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, MD, you can still put in a value add that's free to the business, cost the employees a copay. Sure, you can still do that. So don't think you like can't use MD anymore. That's still a partner with Aflac. By all means, go there. This is just an additional option. So this is what the member experience looks like. So if you're going through the app, you'll see talk to a doctor, talk to a therapist, one or the other. You could do first available doctor, or you can schedule time with a doctor, and then you get this list of doctors. It's sort of like Facebook. You can see some bios, some additional information about them, some of their specialties, etc. If they speak different languages, states they're licensed in. If they're licensed in your state, they'll show up. If they're not licensed in your state, they're not going to show up. So don't have to worry about that. Schedule an appointment, video or phone, pick the time, confirm it. Awesome. They'll call you back at that time. Pretty easy. So yes, Jinx.
So you mentioned if they're licensed in my state. So does it know where I am from the phone? Because I mean, I bounce a lot, but I'm just curious.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a whole intake part, just like you would do an intake when you go into the doctor anyway. And in that, you'll put in your zip code. So even if you're traveling, Like maybe I'm going to go back to California, or maybe I'm going to go to Texas or whatever, I can put in my zip code of where I am right now and then get a doctor in that state. Yeah. So behavioral health, I don't want to drill this in, but the point is people need behavioral health support. 25% of Americans have untreated behavioral health conditions. 50% of counties in the United States have no mental health professionals. I know some of you are in really rural areas. I know Ryan and I talked a little bit about that a few months back. So there's maybe 1 or 2 psychologists in an area. Well, that's not going to help. And who wants, if you're concerned about people seeing you or knowing that you need help, you're not going to walk in the front door of a counselor's office. It's not going to happen. It takes about 33 days, which is not true. It's about 60 days, actually. It's the national average wait time for initial behavioral health visit. So it's taking a very, very long time for people to get help. And then 2 out of 3 of all people with a diagnosable mental illness do not seek treatment. So that's people who need psychiatry, who need medication, who need that next level treatment, don't even know where to start. And that's unacceptable. So here we are. Oops. Some of the reasons you go to therapy, if this is not in your wheelhouse of things that you know, that's okay. So bipolar disorders, depression, eating disorders, grief and loss. Grief and loss is huge right now, you guys. With the pandemic, a lot of people have not been able to grieve correctly. If there's a correct way to grieve, I don't think so. But like because of the pandemic and not being able to see loved ones, etc., that's been insane. People really need help to get through this. Men's issues, women's issues, parenting, teenagers, adolescents. Adolescents also have had some major trauma over the last couple of years. Blending social media with being alone and the whole, it's a mess. So making this available to entire families is huge. We talked about some of the barriers. So lack of recognition that help is needed, lack of awareness about services, lack of convenient services, and lack of privacy and fear of stigma. So Allyhealth addresses all of those. We make it available. It's right there on your phone. We provide the education. So we're regularly touching these members and reminding them what they have available to them. So they're aware of the services. They're convenient as heck. So they can, schedule an appointment at 11:30 on a Thursday night. They can sit in their car and cry. Like whatever they need to do is fine. Most people, especially if they have families, right? They're working and then they come home to their family and then they go to bed. At what point in that day, especially if therapists are working, let's say like 7 to 6, where are they supposed to go to a therapist? Like they need to make money. They can't leave work. They don't want anybody to know why they're leaving work if they were going to. So let's make available in a virtual space. And again, they can sit in their car and have this conversation after they put their kids to bed. Hugely important. So this is a little bit just to break down some of the copay things for behavioral health. So it is a 0 copay still for mental health for the first 10 visits on an employer paid plan. Employer paid. Perfect. The first 3 visits are included on voluntary or direct in an essentials plan. And I'll show you the different plans in a second. So it's basically for an employer paid plan, it's about a $1,200 value per employee's household per year. Because out of pocket is about $125 per session if they were to go to therapy on their own. So that's a massive value. Even at 3 on a voluntary basis, you're talking like about $400 value. And then after that, it rolls into a copay plan. So after the 10th visit or after the 3rd visit, it rolls into a discount plan of $90. And then it goes from there, which is still hugely affordable compared to $125 or $150, etc. They speak with the licensed therapist or psychologist, access in the privacy of their home, as I talked about, and they can speak with the same counselor every time. And that's what hooked me when I was leaving leaving Aflac and joining the agency, the broker agency. I wanted more tools in my tool belt. I had a very, very strong passion for layering Aflac into businesses, and I did really well with that actually as a broker. But I wanted more that addressed the human element. And so I looked for different telemedicine companies and I found Allyhealth and obviously fell in love with them, and here we are. But one of the things that differentiated is the 3 plans are super simple, and I'll show you those in a second. The other one is talking to the same counselor every time. A lot of other companies, you'll talk to a counselor, great, and then you call in again and you talk to a different one and tell your story. And that deters people from wanting to use the service because you don't want to tell your story over and over again. It's the worst thing on the planet. All right, before I dive into some Q4 strategies, any questions, comments, concerns? Bueno, okay, keep going. Lovely. So I'm gonna just kind of jet through. This is just to get your wheels turning. So we're not going to dive deep into these. You're going to see some scripting. I'm going to talk about a couple testimonials. I'm going to have Angel speak, but I will send some tools out via email that James will disperse, hopefully, please. But this is just, this is to get your wheels turning.
I got
Yes,
your
sir?
info with your business cards, etc. So
Oh, thanks. My packet. Good.
Good.
Awesome. Alrighty. So some industries to consider, and these are our quick to market strategies. These are our industries that they need virtual care. So it's very, very quick to have the conversation with them. They see the need for what we do, and then it gets you in the door with your core business. So that's the purpose. So industries: grocery, home health, restaurants, manufacturing, trucking, teachers, W-2 personal services. I mean, those are our target markets for Aflac anyway, right? So totally aligns with Allyhealth and with Aflac. Absolutely high demand. And because we are in a recruiting crisis across the board in every state, these businesses specifically have some of the strongest demand for bringing in employees. Group demographics. So you'll see that's basically everybody. So groups with high turnover, struggling to recruit, again, everybody. Groups that have said no to your core business offering. So no Aflac, no Aflac, no Aflac. All right, let me talk to you about something new. I recently partnered with a virtual healthcare company. We focus on telemedicine, which is virtual urgent care, and mental health care. Let's have a conversation, right? The we're good existing accounts, again, same thing, like, oh, we're good, same people, no changes, whatever. But we know that there's changes. We know we need to update short-term disability. We know that there's, additions to families, deletions from families, etc. There's changes that need to be made. And ultimately, we need to talk to the people and maybe sell more plans. So this is, again, a great way to get in the door. I recently partnered with a virtual healthcare company. We do telemedicine and mental health care. I'd love to talk to you more about that because of XYZ reasons, conversations we've had in the past. I think it's a good fit for your business. This is important, you guys. So for those of you that have existing groups that are on the brink of 13 months inactive, so I know that there is a 75% chance that you will not get back in the door after 13 months pass of inactivity. So let's make sure that doesn't happen. And again, a different conversation, talking about something that's valuable, relevant, and on high demand can get you back in the door, have those conversations, hopefully set some conditions for open enrollment and move forward and keep growing your business. Again, higher level conversation, but self-funded or uninsured groups that don't currently offer mental health care, groups that don't have a benefits package for part-timers. So this is a big one, you guys, because you're like, oh, they have major medical, they're fine, that's not going to be a target for me. Well, okay, yeah, they have major medical. Do they have a high deductible health plan? Because again, they're paying a lot out of pocket just to go see a physician or urgent care, like $50, $60 sometimes, silly. So $0 copay. So that's for the people who are insured. But what about the full-timers that aren't participating? And what about all the part-timers that have no benefits at all? Those are the ones that have the higher turnover anyway. So let's retain some of those part-time team members by bundling together, some Aflac plans and some sickness and mental health support. $50 an employee, make it happen, right? Ultimately, everybody can have a need for what we do, which ultimately, because every human has accidents and can have, catastrophic illnesses, etc. There's a demand across the board. You guys know that.
what about that?
Don't worry about these scripting. I will send these to you digitally. But these are just some, when you go into the guide part of your DM conversation, these are some things that could help you layer in what we do. You can use some of this verbiage as well if you're setting the DMs, just to get yourself in the door. So why virtual care for an insured group or for an uninsured group? So again, for an insured group, you may provide a healthcare plan for your employees, which is great. Yay. But what about those full-time who don't participate, or all of your part-time, variable hour, seasonal workers, whoever it is, right? What recruitment retention program do you have for them? If we're uninsured, I understand you currently don't offer benefits to your employees and you shared your need to do so to help with recruitment and retention. What if I could build a package that includes protection on or off the job injury, catastrophic illness, urgent care, sickness, and mental health? Am I missing anything? So I'll send these to you digitally. You'll have these available. And these are just, again, they're concepts or ways to go past objections, or ways to guide in a DM. Why mental health? The mental health space has a surge of over 570% increase since 2019 in requests for consultations. Most people don't know where to find help. They think it's expensive, or they're afraid of anyone knowing they need help. Providing this benefit minimizes the majority of stigma associated with seeking and receiving care. Right, address that. So that's the, nobody needs it, nobody brought it up. Well, nah, they need it, stop it. Yes, your healthcare plan does include mental health. The current turnaround time for an initial therapy visit via fully insured medical plans is 30 to 60 days. With Allyhealth, it's approximately 3 to 5 days, and they get to work with the same therapist ongoing. In addition, the healthcare plan is only available to your participating full-time employees. What about part-time, variable hour, seasonal workers, families, etc.? So similar, right? Repeat of the same concept. And lastly, why telemedicine? With a zero copay, the telemedicine is a great asset too. And then depending on your audience, young families, because kids always have a rash, cough, earache, runny nose, etc. Every doctor visit in person takes hours and out of pocket. So it keeps the parent at work because they can really quickly get the care they need in the middle of the night with a doctor. High deductible health plans, high urgent care copays, because the more your employees pay out of pocket, the less they value the benefit you're providing, which in turn can decrease productivity and morale. So again, hopefully you've uncovered these pain points before you just throw some information at them, but here's some tools. Part-time workers without benefits, etc., because they are often left without retention programs and their turnover can be much more regular and incredibly costly to the business. Many groups use telemedicine to report small workers' comp injuries. We have a 9-minute callback time and roughly a 10-minute phone call, which is much more affordable than half a day off or urgent care visit. Again, just concepts you guys can use to layer this in. I'm going to stop talking. Any questions about that before we talk about a couple testimonials?
I want to ask you something really quickly. I just, when you're talking about telemedicine in general, I think there's the copay. We don't have this, right? There's no copay. I think you were talking about 10 if it's employer sponsored, correct?
For mental health. Telemedicine is no copay and it's unlimited.
Okay. And then I think you brought up Kaiser. I think Kaiser has one built in. A lot of.
Well, what it is HMOs generally, and I'm just using example because it's so big on the West Coast,
Yep.
Yeah. With Kaiser, they don't really play ball with anybody. If I was to use a telemedicine program and they were to write a prescription, Kaiser would not fill it, so I would have to pay out of pocket.
You got it. Yep. So that literally has come up in almost every conversation I have with someone in the West Coast. Yeah, Kaiser. So if an Allyhealth provider wanted to send a prescription, they'd have to send it to like a Walgreens or CVS or Target or whatever. And you'd have to pay out of pocket. You can use our prescription savings plan. And you absolutely can look at that prior to, like before they send the prescription, and you can be like, you know what, never mind. I need to just go to my doctor. That's kind of the bummer about Kaiser. One of the reasons that I think Kaiser is a pain in my butt. Right. So they're like a fortress.
Right.
So ultimately you're going to pay out of pocket, or you're going to be like, all right, I guess I'll just wait for my Kaiser doctor and then go that route.
So I guess the mental health aspect would be more advantageous to go through the telemedicine program. You're Allyhealth, because
Yeah.
where you have to jump through hoops of fire to get any kind of help. It's Kaiser is great if you're healthy, but as soon as something,
Yeah.
then it's pretty insane. So I can see
Yeah.
Any insurance company is great if you're healthy.
Right.
But
Absolutely.
what about if, like with MeMD, I think they allow your family, meaning that could be your parents can be on the value add, right? Is that the same kind of thing with this?
It's household and dependent. So if your parents live in the household, sure. But honestly, we're not going to check. You can add up to 7 people to your account.
Oh, gotcha. Good to know.
Yeah. I mean, we're not going to call anybody. We're not like the police. We're just going to provide the service, and you guys, the members use it how they need to. And then sorry.
Can I go on yours?
You can, yeah.
There you go.
you can.
You're not gonna do that, right? Okay.
Meeting's over. Perfect.
I know, right? Everyone jump on.
I'm good.
So, and Alex, just to address that mental health part and Kaiser. So I specifically heard from one of my broker friends that it's a 60-day wait to get an initial conversation with a therapist through Kaiser.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And I feel like it's probably more than that. And even to get to that is insane and like a huge process. So talk to all your Kaiser groups at the end.
Generally, when someone to ask about mental health, they need it right then. They can't wait 2 months.
It's not good. That's setting them up for failure in a lot of ways.
Yeah, correct.
Phil?
Jenny, has any analysis been done annually? The broker does, the insurance companies do an analysis of the companies they're working with, what they paid in, what they had to pay out. Has any analysis been done? Because if they're using the network on Ally, that's not going over to them. Maybe they're not going to the emergency room because they just used the call. Maybe they're using the service here, not going through the other network because it's a much copay. But it also means it's not going into that bucket. So next year, their insurance rates for the employer maybe don't go up as much.
Yep, you got it. That's a higher level conversation and I love it. We have a ROI report that we can build out for any group, especially self-funded groups. It literally will show them based on our trend of utilization, what they will save dollar for dollar in having us in place versus having their employees and their families use their self-funded plan. So specifically in that, it's a dollar for dollar savings. We can still show that. It's an indirect savings, of course, but we can still show that for groups that are fully funded, where the finances have sort of shifted. So instead of deducting against utilization with their fully funded insurance and spiking, of course, their insurance plan, utilization comes through us. Yeah, we have those reports. For larger groups, we do regular utilization reporting every 6 months or so to make sure that we're on track and we're really promoting and pushing the service as much as needed for that particular strategy. Some groups will drop the utilization down to like 30% and just cap them there, and they don't want as much engagement, but they want to have it available. But for groups, specifically self-funded groups or uninsured groups, we go to the max with those guys, and we actually will strategize with the group themselves and with you guys too. So great question.
Along those same lines, I wonder if we were to pair what Allyhealth is doing with a business, what we use on that value added service with medical bill saver. Wonder if that'd be a good pairing.
With your medical bill saver, the value add you already have.
Right.
So we have that too.
You
And
have
it's
that
free.
too. Is it built in or is it another? It is?
No, it's one of our value adds. Yeah. And it's with every membership.
Wow.
So you have 2 of your value adds. You have the telemedicine and you have medical bill saver already with us. So that frees you up to use one of the other value adds if you want.
Nice.
Is there a $400 minimum on that? Like our,
500.
okay, that's pretty good.
500, and there's only a charge if the negotiation is made.
Yeah. Huh.
I have one more Kaiser question. So
Yeah.
you had mentioned earlier that if people use the Allyhealth doctors, that you can send the doctor's notes to your primary care physician. Does that work with Kaiser too, or do they not accept the notes even?
They should be. I don't know the answer to that. I can get the answer. That part I can almost guarantee works.
Okay.
Because doctors, I mean, they have to communicate with each other just because they don't send prescriptions and they block that. That's one thing, but I think communication you can get that to any provider.
Okay.
Yeah, I can almost guarantee that. I'll double check, but I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yep. Thank you. All right, Angel, would you chat a little bit about your experience with us? And hopefully it's not bad. No, Angel and I had a couple hiccups, just to be transparent, but we worked through it. But Angel, I'd love for you to talk about your experience with Allyhealth and your groups.
Well, good morning, everyone. Allyhealth is pretty great. Basically, I use it for employers that can't afford health insurance. I mean, I already know my accounts. I already know the employers that are struggling to pay their bills and they want to offer some kind of benefits. That's why Aflac is there. So this year, I believe we have 3 groups, and basically, I just view the account. If it's a fit, I'll place it, and I just tell them that it's employer only paid, and it's $15 a person, and they get 10 mental therapies for the household and unlimited telemedicine. It's worked really well for a lot of my clients, and the way I leverage it is I need to speak to every employee, and so when we roll it out, that's another way for me to get conditions. So look at your book of business where you have challenging conditions and they don't really let you in, and this is the 28th year with Aflac and they already heard it. Well, they still need to hear it because life changes. But this is just another tool for your belt.
Thank you, Angel. And what, and actually we haven't talked about this separately, but in leveraging Allyhealth, were you able to sell more Aflac in each of those groups or in some of them?
Yeah, so I have this really difficult account. But yeah, I was able, because they had to talk to me about Allyhealth, I was able to bring up participation for Aflac. And it's not because, I'm forcing them. I'm just educating them, and then they make a decision if they want to add the Aflac too.
Awesome.
So you'd say you got better conditions because of this. Is that correct?
Yeah. There's there's some difficult accounts, and then you have your really great accounts. And then, you know your clients. So leverage this to your benefit. I mean, we got to make money to help people. And Ally does pay you. So we don't get paid on telemedicine or health advocate, but Allyhealth does. So use it.
Go ahead,
Hey,
Ryan.
Angel, have you marketed it to non-existing accounts, like new accounts? Any success stories there?
Yeah. So, obviously Portland has 2 regions and a lot of Aflac agents. So this is just another way for me to approach a business for new prospects, especially. So my folder, when I run a ER appointment, I have my Aflac proposal. I'll carry the Allyhealth, but really I bring it up if they don't have any health insurance or any medical care, then look, Allyhealth is the way we can set this up. Plus, we got Aflac that'll help your people if they get hurt or sick. So to me, that's something that you can prospect with. Just another tool.
So Angel, you mentioned that you require the employer paid, which I love. I think that's brilliant because it's so inexpensive. When you do that, is it positioning, so they have to pay for every single employee, or are there situations where an employer can say, I'm only going to pay for my W-2s and not the 1099s, or I'm only going to pay for full-time, and then they can elect it on a voluntary basis? Is there any kind of quasi things like that?
Yeah, so I have 2 accounts that I was able to get them to pay 100% for their staff for every employee. And so it was just a Excel spreadsheet where they filled out. But then I had that difficult account, and she only paid for the people that met with me and wanted the service. So talk to Jenny, make sure it's compliant.
Right.
And then any issues, I mean, we did have a small hiccup like anything, but just put Jenny on the loop and you know, they'll take it over. That's it.
Nice.
Yeah, and Jinx, just to add to that, and thank you, Angel. I absolutely want to be as involved as you'd like me to be, so I can be involved or not involved. Sometimes I'm not involved, like with Angel's groups, and sometimes I am. But if you want to have a strategy conversation about the group as far as that sort of thing goes, like employer paid or employer contribution, what that looks like, you know, maybe they want to offer it to this and then not to these people. We can talk through that, and every group is different. It really depends on the strategy, because again, I want you to sell more of your core business. So how can I help you do that? By leveraging Allyhealth. So the strategy is going to vary. Sometimes we have to do employer paid rates for like the W-2s, and then voluntary rates for the 1099s. That's fine. Or maybe because just your relationship in the group, we really just need the rates to be the same across the board. I can wiggle that in. Don't play this recording to my boss, but like, I'll make it work. So the strategy is about you gaining that leverage, and I'll do whatever it takes to make that happen.
Nice.
Awesome. Any other questions for Angel?
What are commissions like?
15% for agents.
So give us a typical scenario. So let's say we go into a business with 20 employees.
Yep.
Employer pays for it. So how does that work? I mean, in terms of how soon we get paid, you know, I'm an agent. I just set it up.
Yep.
Tell me what goes on next?
Okay. So you set it up, enrollment's done. You sent me the activation form and the census. We're going to start them on October 15th. Great. So, and on that, we start on the 1st or the 15th. New groups on 1st or the 15th. You send it to me. Great. They're up and running, ready to go October 15th. You won't get paid until the end of the month after they pay their first bill. So it's going to be like 6 weeks from now. But then you build a book. So it's as earned for the life of the policy. And you get that percentage.
So if it's 20 people, that's 20 times 15, right? So that's per month?
Sure. Yeah. Yep.
And we get paid monthly?
And you get 13%.
Yes.
So that would be 15% of 300 is 45 a month?
Yep.
That's pretty dang good, actually.
Yeah. And it builds up. So I think Angel's probably, you're over $100 now, right, Angel? Should be.
Yeah, I think I'm 200 plus or 400 plus.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
that
I think so.
That's every month you're getting that? That's
3 groups.
Yes. Yes.
that's almost better than, that is better than Aflac's renewals. And that's year after year?
It's not better.
It's ongoing for the life of the policy.
What'd you say?
It's not better than the as earned though, right? If you.
No, that, but as earned is the first year commission. That's first year commission. But she's saying that
It's for the life of the policy,
life
right?
of the policy.
So that's forever. Well, as long as they keep
Holy
it.
crap, guys. I don't know what, I don't know what you, but
As long as it's.
I'm getting kind of excited. I'm going to actually start selling this myself if you're not. Really?
Yeah, so we're talking, I think and Angel, I hope you don't mind me sharing, but I think it's been like maybe 100 lives, just under 100 lives that Angel's brought on with Allyhealth, and that's where he's at with his commission. So just
Wow.
give you.
Maybe you want to talk about this offline, but there is the compensation. There's a coordinator part to that. Am I right? I don't know if you want to speak to
There
that, Jenny,
is
here.
a coordinator part to that, and I wasn't going to bring that up, Ryan.
I'm just saying, like, we
Yeah.
have a bunch of coordinators on here, and there's a small
Yeah.
override
There's
commission.
a 5% override for DSCs.
So,
I already got it, by the way. Took my wife out for dinner.
Perfect.
There you
Yeah,
go.
there is an override for leadership. So we built our business model to align with Aflac's, with the hierarchy commission and the business model itself. So it takes 3 employees or 3 people to start a group. They're portable services, portable policies, voluntary is post-tax, and then employer paid obviously is employer paid. So very, very similar alignment with that. Billing is done technically in the rears if need be. If it's employer paid, they could just pay it as needed. If it is voluntary, they don't have to pay the bill until after the month is over, so they can get those payroll deductions. So align it completely with how you align your Aflac, and it'll work on our end. Yeah, really, really flexible there.
I mean, I'm just thinking out loud here, but if you think about walking into a business, sitting down with an owner, this is a brand new company, or even existing, but and letting them know, you know, if you do something like a $15 per employee, that's the equivalent of a 7.5 cent raise per hour. Which, if you try doing that, they would quit on you. They would rebel and say that's ridiculous, that's insulting. But if you said, this is what Jenny just described, these are all the things that you're providing for your employees. You went over that list, right? And then you said, okay, so that's $15. Now let's take a look at maybe another $15 that will get a lump sum benefit for just about every employee, or at least 15 maybe towards the Aflac, right? Now you're laying out a lot of stuff that employer, for about maybe a 15 cent an hour raise, is going to be able to provide for their employees. I mean, that's a lot of value. I'm just thinking, if you guys aren't seeing the light on this, we have another. We will take that conversation offline, because.
Hey, Jenny.
Yes, ma'am.
So I like to test things on myself. Is it possible to have, like, can I offer it through my district, like as a group, or no?
Well, if you're a newly appointed agent, you get 90 days free service of our telemedicine. So there's that. In addition, if you are a business owner, you have an LLC or otherwise, you can put your people under your business. If that answers your question. Yes,
Okay,
James.
thank you.
Yep.
Well, I'm an S corp. Do I have to? I actually have to have employees on that. I can't put my family on my S corp, right?
Don't ask if you don't want to know.
So we don't do employment verification.
Okay.
Good. Good.
So if you have a 6-year-old, then you're thinking, okay, well.
Well, they have to be 18 to have a membership, but
There
they
you
can
go.
be a dependent on yours.
One of those.
But yeah, we don't do employment verification.
Okay.
Yay.
Yeah. Okay, a couple more things. I'm not gonna do I want to talk about these? Okay, I'll share one of these testimonials and then we'll move on.
I love it.
So actually I like all of these. So basically, I have this agent in Texas and he is on fire. He's in Houston. He's a CIT right now. And every conversation he has with every employer, whether it be a new group, a prospect, or an existing account, Allyhealth is part of his offering. So like, it's not Aflac, it's not like I am Aflac and I'm doing this other thing. It's like, these are the services I offer. This is what I learned about you. This is what I think the package would look like. That makes the most sense. And he has gotten in the door I think he's on 6 accounts now. leveraging Allyhealth, and these are, so in new specifically, these groups have said no to him for like a year. No Aflac, no Aflac, no Aflac, no Aflac. And this guy, he is determined as heck. And he went in with Allyhealth, and they're like, that's interesting. Yeah, I want to pay for that. Okay, great. So I have to talk to every person and make sure they know to use it, et cetera, et cetera. And while I do that, you know, I know you're not ready to commit to Aflac, but do you mind if I offer Aflac on a voluntary basis and you'd be willing to do the payroll deductions? Yeah, absolutely. That's great. Thank you. Okay, so he sold some Aflac in a way that he would have not sold Aflac at all before. And it's voluntary this time, which is not great, but it's something. And he's done very well in writing AP in a space that would have been a big fat goose egg. So that's pretty powerful. Again, it's not ideal that they do employer paid for us and then not for you guys, but it's better than a zero. So that's one option. Another group, it's an existing account. She never wants to do any updates. She never wants to do anything different. She used to have medical for her employees, but dropped it obviously because it's more expensive than necessary. So she knows the impact that medical care can have. And this agent was not able to get conditions for years. And he's like, they have a good relationship, but she's just like, no way in hell you're going to talk to my people. So he's like, hey, I got this new thing that I'm doing. Let's talk about it. And her husband were all for it. She paid for the full-timers and part-timers with us, and he was able to regain conditions and then sell some Aflac that way as well. So huge in both aspects for sure. I'll just jet through rates. So James has a couple of flyers that, James, if you want to make copies of those or whatever, and I'll send this to you digitally as well. These are our 3 plans that I alluded to. We have basic telemedicine, basic mental health, essentials plan. Essentials has both, and then the 2 standalones. What you'll see is an employer paid in that middle part. So it says pricing by group size, ER paid. All 3 plans are available employer paid. If it's voluntary, you only have telemedicine only or the essentials plan. So there's no standalone mental health. But those are the rates. And for employer paid, if that's the strategy you're going to go with, the rates get lower as the group gets bigger. And voluntary is voluntary no matter the size of the group. So it could be 100 employees, 200 employees. If they're going to offer voluntary, it's $1,733 a month for essentials plan. And then we also have direct available too, and that's on our toolbox. You guys can get that information on there. So you have all those options. If you want any formal requests, I can build those for you. So you can look at this chart. You can use this as your grid, your baseline, totally fine. If you want something actually pretty to present, let me know. Or if you want to strategize, and if you want to cut any of your commissions out to get prices lower, we can cut your commissions. That's absolutely your choice. You have the ability to do that. And right now we have a Q4 offer. So telemedicine service, essentials plan, behavioral health, we have free months, right? So if they're doing, and this is employer paid only, this is no voluntary, employer paid only, telemedicine only, 1 month free, essentials bundle, 2 months free, behavioral health, 1 month free, but they have to have 50 employees on board with that one. So that's a little bit different. Just to break that down. So standalone telemedicine, and actually that's not right. 10 lives, that's totally wrong. You need 10 lives on the standalone telemedicine to get the free month, 10 lives on the essentials plan to get the 2 free months, or 50 lives on standalone mental health. Okay. So if you have things coming up, use this with your own verbiage. So go to the group, discover, guide, etc., do all the things, and then use it as, I might be able to get you a free month if you want to upgrade to essentials plan, or use it for your business. You don't have to say, oh, Allyhealth is giving whatever. No. You're the professional. You're the trusted advisor. It's your offer, but we have it as a backup plan for you. And those are all through Q4, so they have to be enrolled prior to the end of December. So January 1st would be the last enrollment date. This is our toolkit. So once you're appointed with us, allyhealth.net/agent to get into the toolkit. To get appointed, it's allyhealth.net/new-agent. And then it takes 2 minutes to get appointed. It's a service, it's not insurance, so it takes just a couple minutes to do your appointment. Make sure you sign up to get your free membership. It's 90 days of telemedicine, so you can see what it's like to be a member and be able to speak to that with your groups. And then you can cancel after 90 days if you don't want to start paying for it. But I think it's a great service personally, obviously, because I work for them. But this is your toolkit. So this is the front page. You have these videos that you can send out to your groups. So you can post them on LinkedIn. You could do whatever you want with them. On this left side, we're for referral links. You are able to sign up people direct. So you can just send them this link and your friends, family, or whoever can just sign up as a direct. Training, again, you have some more videos, you have some site sellers, etc. Marketing, all of this material is customizable. We have some editable material in the top right corner that already has blanks. You could just put in your contact information. But if you need something specific for you, for a certain group, let me know. Like there's a Keller Williams out in Texas. They wanted a flyer for their employees and they wanted a separate flyer for voluntary rates for all the 300 agents that they're going to offer this to as part of their Keller Williams like membership. So I can customize those for you, no problem. I need like a day, maybe 2 days. Enrollment docs are all in here too. So pick a button, employer paid, direct, or voluntary. Each button is going to tell you exactly what you need for that enrollment. It's literally 2 things. It's an activation form and it's a census. The voluntary payroll deduction actually has a PDA in there that you can send out or print. You guys can also use your PDAs and that's fine too. Just add a line for Allyhealth.
Oh.
And then your own membership is on here too. So that's it. Yay. So next steps or what have you. So get started. If you want to be appointed with us, great. There's no quota. You don't have to sell any certain amount, but just get on board.
Now leave that to people because I see them writing down. So that's good. Sign up as an agent. That's step number 1.
Yeah. Sign up as an agent. 1, 2, check out the toolbox, use the resources, do some marketing, send some information out to your existing clients. I'm offering a new service. Here's some information about it. Here's a cute video. I'm happy to, if you guys want me to build a template for that email to send to your accounts, I'm happy to do it. Just email me. Super easy. It'll take me like 5 minutes. I do it all day, every day. And then start prospecting and talking to groups. And if you need help, if you want me to be on a DM, if you are like, they're asking me a question I don't know, you can text me. Like I'm really, really available to you as a partner. So consider me your DSC for virtual care and let me know how I can help. That's
Awesome.
it.
Good stuff. I mean, bagels are incredible.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know, I'm gonna go get a bagel. So any other questions, comments, concerns, strategies you guys want to talk through? I know I took up a lot of time on your call today, so I appreciate you being here, being present with me and asking some great questions. But anything else I can help you with at this moment?
So I'm really stoked about this. I can't believe you've got medical bill saver, kind of a, your version of it built into this.
Yep.
Like you said, that frees us up with another value added service. I mean,
Personal wellness.
yeah.
Financial and legal fitness, yeah.
Whatever you want.
I don't know.
Throw it in the-
Mhm.
Financial legal fitness.
Right. So yeah. Does anybody have a case coming up? Anybody?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh, Allyhealth, no.
Not yet.
We
Not
don't have
yet.
any cases in the fourth quarter at all, James. So no opportunities here.
Yeah.
Period. Sorry. We're just taking fourth quarter off this year.
Dead zone.
Fourth quarter is usually,
Tuesday morning, Jinx,
um,
right?
Good morning.
Tuesday morning, Jinx, right?
Yeah. whoever the
Yep.
next person that sets one up with Jenny, and she'll let me know. It's $100 You got a Benjamin from me.
Oh,
Nice.
So
All right,
next
it's on. Come on, Kay. Come on, Lorraine.
Yeah. You know, I have to say something. As a retired, I was a mental health professional and a college professor in the mental health field. This is so exciting to me because I see the huge division between people who can get that help and people who can't. I mean, and it's, you know, you see lives lost constantly. So to me, I'm just like totally, I'm beyond excited.
awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kay. That's great.
Mhm.
I knew Kay was going to be all over this, so good stuff. You know, because Kay is a student. She figures things out and she applies it. So look out, you guys want to get that $100? You're going to be competing against Kay. So I'm just letting you know.
All
Well,
right,
and
I
just
gotta
kind of
jump.
piggybacking off of
And you
Kay,
did say that it's available for volunteers as well as 1099.
Yeah.
So I have a couple of volunteer organizations, so that would be appropriate for them.
Trishelle had a question. Welcome,
it wasn't a
Trishelle.
question. I was just kind of piggybacking. Hello, everybody. I, for my entire life, have been surrounded by employees who work with adult mentally disabled. So knowing that the employees could really benefit from this, because they really don't have spare time to go to the doctor.
No.
So knowing that they could hop on, you know, while they're getting dressed, get that video call and do the video call, even in the parking lot of where they're going, and feel heard, you know, it's just incredible. So I think I'm really gonna stand on this stool when I move forward. So
I love that. Thank you. I'm going to share just so you guys can see it at a glance. One of the flyers I sent to James, and you guys can have this in a digital format as well. But I had some printed and sent to you guys. Where is it? Oh my goodness. There we go. If you just want to take and run with the therapy part, this flyer is awesome. So again, you have it available with James.
Over here.
Okay, so it's basic teletherapy, and I can send it to you digitally. Sorry, lady. It just speaks to the therapy, the employer paid therapy plan. So
Tell them later.
Therapy dog.
Sing, does she sing?
she does. If you're on my Instagram, you will see us howling together. It's
Cute. I love it.
She does. Her little lips. Ooh. Yeah.
I love it when they do the little lips. Yeah.
So this flyer is great if you just want to talk about the therapy, and then you can always like tag in the urgent care if you want to. So,
Nice.
yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Jenny.
Absolutely, guys. Thanks for having me today.
Wave.
Thank you, Jenny.
Triangle.
I love you, Jenna.
I love you,
Oh,
Jack.
bye. Thank you. Yeah, reach out if you need anything. My email was on there. James is great about sending out my emails as well. So just respond to those and let me know how I can help.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, James.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
So, if you want to go ahead and call